Hi, I'm Brian Ierson. I'm one of the instructors at the Computer Workshop. Today I'm going to begin a series of videos that deals with imagery. So to begin with, we're going to start taking a look at what are the different types of images that we have available and when are we going to choose them. So as you can see, we have TIFFs, GIFs, or GIFs, depending on how you prefer to pronounce that, JPEGs, SVGs, PSDs, and PNGs. These are going to be some of the more common ones that we're going to encounter. So the big question is, which image format do I choose? Well, these are all going to be dependent on the type of images. So to begin with, let's start looking at the two types of images that we have in the digital world. The first one that you can see here on the left is going to be the vector-based images. Now, vectors are mathematically plotted coordinate systems using the X and Y axis. So you're going to have points that are plotted and then lines that connect those. You may hear these referred to as paths from time to time. And then those will close to form shapes that you can fill with solid colors. The advantage of vector-based graphics is that they are scalable. Now, the other type of image is going to be a raster or a bitmap image. These are going to be based on thousands of pixels, all combined together, which form an image. If we zoom in to a small subsection of an image, as you can see in this image to the right, you're going to have lots and lots of little squares. These are the pixels. Now, if you try zooming in or making an image really large, then those pixels are going to become much more prevalent. So they are not really scalable. Raster images are going to be made up of thousands of pixels, and you want to use photographs for these. Vector artwork are going to be more the computer drawn or graphic type of imagery. So let's begin examining the different types of our images, and we'll begin with the JPEGs. Now, JPEGs are great for photographs, but as it says here, unfortunately, they don't allow transparencies within the image. They are a web-safe font also, though. Now, you can see in the image on the left, I have all of the content there, and on the image in the image on the right, I have removed the background. But since JPEG cannot support transparencies, it automatically fills that in with the default white matte. Now, depending on your image software, you can actually choose the color that you would like to fill so that it could match an existing background. But if you want, there are other image formats that will allow you to have transparencies and the millions of colors like a JPEG. So let's move on to the next image format, which is going to be the GIF, GIF. Now these are more geared for vector, in other words, computer drawn or generated image, as opposed to photographs. Now, the GIFs or GIFs have some really nice features to them. One, they can allow you to limit the number of colors. The default is that you have 256 web-safe colors in there. They are going to be blocks of colors, so if we zoom in on this, this is going to appear what they call in a dithered manner, meaning that I'm not going to see a nice even gradient. I'm going to see bands of color up against each other that when zoomed out are going to look like a nice even gradient. These type of images are going to be somewhat more scalable than a JPEG, but they do have other limitations. Yes, I can support transparency, but as you can see in the middle image here, I have I have put on a small little visual or graphic effect of a drop shadow. Now, in order to render the drop shadow, the GIF automatically is going to fill that background with a white matte in order to render out the effect of a drop shadow or a glow. So it does not really work well with the transparencies if we have these type of effects. Depending on the quality of the GIF that you choose to generate, you can, as you see in the far right image, see a little bit of a white outline, and that is because this is being rendered with a lower quality. All right, so these are your GIFs. They're great for vector-based drawn or text artwork, although not great if you want to add any type of effects that involve transparencies. So what happens when you have the transparency, the vector artwork, and you want to use the effect? Well, in those cases, you're going to move to the PNG format. Now, this is kind of a hybrid between a GIF and a JPEG. You can see here I have three examples again. The first one is a straight up PNG with no transparency effect applied to it. I can have the limitation of 256 colors, or I can have the millions of colors like a JPEG. So it gives me the best of both worlds. As you can see, there are two other images here, both of which are showing you a drop shadow. Now, the one in the middle is using the format PNG8, so it has an 8-bit color depth, and that is not got enough, shall we say, horsepower to render out that effect without generating the white matte. If we step up to the PNG 24s, you can actually see that that drop shadow is rendered with a lot of detail and it looks just fantastic. So if you want the transparency, you want the millions of colors like a JPEG, or the limited color palette like a GIF with transparencies and effects, you might want to go ahead and begin considering using the PNGs. The next is a newer format called an SVG, Scalable Vector Graphic. The advantages of these type of image files is that they are very small in file size. In fact, this little pumpkin that you see here is only 13K. And the beauty of this is that as I scale this, it will always be exactly the same. I will never face any degradation of quality. In fact, if I try to scale this, it will also even maintain the aspect ratio. So I'm not going to distort the image, and the image quality will not fall apart depending on the application and size that I need this image to be in. So this is rapidly becoming a great option for lightweight web graphics. Now, if you take the time to build more complicated images in an image editing software such as Adobe's Photoshop, you're going to use the PSD image format. This is what is considered to be a lossless, meaning there is no degradation to the quality of the image, although my file sizes will be considerably larger, and therefore this is not really an image format that I would use for anything that is going to be viewed online. This does allow you to maintain all of the layers that were used in the image creation, making this image much more editable. The drawback here is that you must have Photoshop or an image editing software capable of rendering out a Photoshop PSD file in order to view it. if you are making this image for somebody that doesn't happen to have Photoshop, they're not going to be able to see this or work with it. Now, this brings us to the tiff. The tiff is another high quality lossless image format, although you do have choices of how you would like to render that. It can be opened without Photoshop. Any computer can render and show you a tiff file. These are going to be very large in file size, and they are really reserved for images that you want people to be able to print nice high quality images. This would not be an image format that I would ever consider putting onto a web page just due to the simple size of the file. I hope that this clarifies a little bit of the different types of images. So just as a quick review, JPEGs, they're going to be used for photographs. They don't allow transparencies with the image, but they are a web-safe format. GIF, these are more driven or geared to vector-based graphics. They do allow transparencies. You can limit the number of colors to reduce the file size, but you cannot really have any drop shadows or glow effects that impact or intrude into the transparent space of the image. This is a web-safe format also. PNG, these are the hybrid between the GIF and the GIF, between the JPEG and the GIF. These do allow transparency. They allow limited color palettes, but you can also have it work like a JPEG in that it will accept millions of colors or display millions of colors. And again, this is a web-safe format. SVGs are the newer image format with super small file sizes. They allow for a much greater range of control when you are rescaling images so that they can be used in many, many different formats. PSDs, these are the native formats from Adobe's Photoshop. They are lossless. They do maintain the image layers. They are editable, but the drawback is that you must have Photoshop or an image editing software capable of working with a PSD file in order to use these. TIFF, these are lossless images, super high quality, great for anybody to be able to open and print that image without any issue because every computer can open a TIFF file format. I hope this helps clarify a little bit of the mystery of choosing the right image format for your projects. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel and see what videos are coming up next. We do put out new videos on a weekly basis, and for the next several weeks I am going to be presenting videos on image correction and background removal using Photoshop, GIMP, and Microsoft Office. So once again, if you like what you've been seeing so far, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, take care.